Welcome to the Exec Code podcast, where we learn and hear from business owners and executives. Today, I'm excited about our guest. We have with us Jacob Britton. He's the founder and CEO of Netwrks. We got to work together at Comer Companies for a few years. I learned a lot from him, so excited to have him on here. Jacob, how's your day going today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on, Liz. Excited about today's conversation.
Yeah, so tell us about Netwrks, your company, and what y'all do.
Most definitely happy to. So with Networks, we specialize in LinkedIn lead generation. So essentially what that looks like is when a partner comes on board, they give us a little bit more insight into who they're looking to engage with and kind of what the angle is that they're looking to achieve through those engagements. From there, we take all the lift off of their side, building out lead lists, messaging sequences, optimizing their profile. And then we use our own system to then automate outreach to their desired market in order to get conversations started and generate more sales opportunities straight through LinkedIn.
That's awesome. So tell me some tips that'd be helpful for business owners looking to build their personal LinkedIn page or also their business page. I've had a lot of business owners recently asking advice on this. Maybe they're not active on social media at all and they're seeing the value in it now. So, what are some thoughts on that?
Most definitely. Just like any social media platform, the key to getting started is just being active on the platform, right? LinkedIn acts just like Meta or TikTok or any other social platform in a sense of the more that you give to the platform, the more it'll give back, right? So normally what I tell individuals who are looking to start really investing in their LinkedIn presence is really take some time every other day if possible, just 10 to 15 minutes, create a post, like and comment on 3 to 4 other posts, and do that kind of on a bi-daily basis if possible. Obviously, if you have the time, you can do it every day, all the bit better. But really those first, kind of early stages of establishing your presence on LinkedIn, the key is really just going to be creating content and engaging with others. And as you do that, the algorithm will then reward you with more exposure and more opportunities to connect with others as you continue to invest on the platform.
That's good. Thank you for sharing that. That's interesting. I know your company is growing. What made you want to start your own company, and how did you find your first few clients? I've had several people asking me, how did you get your first clients? So I'd be interested to hear your story.
Most definitely. For myself, I've always felt called to be an entrepreneur and to be a business owner. So I knew for a long time that this is kind of always where my path would lead to. How I got my first few clients, it's kind of funny. When I stepped out on my own at the start of 2023, I was just working really in social media management, content creation, something I've done for a long time, and just leaned into that because I knew it'd be an easy way to get some traction, some quick wins under my belt. As I started to explore trying to get more partners for that business at that time, the thing I started to lean into was LinkedIn and manually going out, reaching out to others, trying to get conversations started. And the thing that I noticed was that it was working really, really well for me. So well that I had kind of this light bulb moment after a few months of the offer that I'm pushing with social media management, content creation, that's not the offer. The LinkedIn outreach and automating that process is the service that I need to be focusing on. So the offer that I'm working on currently with Networks actually came about because it was a need that I had for myself and something that worked really, really well for me. So my assumption was, it'd work well for others, and there clearly is a need for kind of this space and support in these areas. So ended up crafting an offer around Networks, and it feels like it's been a blur since then. It's thankfully continued to grow month in and month out, and it's been an incredible experience so far.
That's awesome. Yeah, LinkedIn is an excellent platform. That's actually where I found my first client. I did a post and shared my services, and they asked a question. Within a month, I had my first client. So you really never know where your first clients will come from, but it's neat
Most
to see.
definitely, just to add to that, I think for a lot of others starting out, it can be daunting to think through, well, I need to run ads or I need to invest more in SEO or whatever the approach may be. The fact of the matter is, I really feel strongly that LinkedIn, in comparison to kind of all the other platforms that are available, really is the only one that provides true organic ROI on your efforts. Whereas Meta, YouTube, TikTok, it's all so pay to play, whether that's through paying the platform directly or paying influencers for promotion. There's always some type of dollars that need to be exchanged in order to receive ultimately what it is that you're looking for. Whereas on LinkedIn, there's just this massive organic opportunity of other people who are like-minded, who think about business in a similar way to you, that are ready for that opportunity of collaboration. You just have to be proactive and do that outreach first.
Definitely. I love that. And what are your thoughts, some on buying followers on if it's LinkedIn or Instagram? I know a lot of people have different opinions on this and thoughts. And are there companies you recommend if you think it's a good idea or not?
Yeah, so I've spent a lot of time in that space just in terms of, kind of the fabrication space, if you will. And, I'd say 3 to 4 years ago, buying followers was something that was actually extremely effective, right? Because at that point in time, the algorithms on Instagram, for reference, were really just all based off of exposure. So if I were to post and then I get this flood of likes and engagement, the algorithm would then go, this post is performing well. Let me show it to more people. Now, as
Yeah.
the algorithm has continued to evolve and these platforms have trans, what they're really good about doing now is when you get this flood of engagement, it goes and looks at the individuals engaging and then goes, okay, great. This sector of individuals is responding well. Let me show it to more people who fit that profile. So you can see if you were to be buying followers now, it's going to do a lot more harm than good at the end of the day because essentially Instagram's basing your target audience off of essentially ghost accounts, right? So you'll be getting more exposure, and while the metrics may be there and you may see increase in views, increase in likes, they're never really going to fit that target audience that you're looking to engage with. So it's a great play if you want some quick wins and vanity metrics and social proof to be able to say, hey, look at how many followers I have. But ultimately, looking for that ROI, it's going to do a lot more harm than good in the long run, just because it's essentially confusing the algorithm, and the platform's not going to be able
Yeah.
to determine who is this content for and who do I need to be presenting it to so that I can then receive the outcome that I'm looking for.
That's really good. Yeah, I can see how it could be a short term win, but long term, it's not a real relationship. You can't upsell to a fake follower, and so that's really helpful. And tell us about a time where a mentor gave you some good advice that's really stuck with you throughout the years. Do you have any example of that?
Most definitely. So I've been blessed with some incredible mentors in my life. One in particular is Jared Morgan, who's the founder of Procter U, another very successful
Yeah.
Birmingham-based business. We got connected when I was, I believe, 17. So he's been mentoring me for over a decade now. And the thing that he taught me really early on from his own experiences with Procter U was just the importance of iteration, right? And it's such a simple kind of idea, but something that I think thinking through when you're on one side of the glass versus when you're in the thick of it building a business, it's a little bit different of a perspective. I know for myself, I often have fallen victim to building an offer and sitting back and going, great, this is perfect. I don't need to change everything. I'll just let it grow and see what happens and kind of ride it out from here. And
Hmm.
really, what Jared's harped and challenged me with as time goes on is yes, what you have at current state or initially may be good, but always be looking at how it can be better. And even in my own business with Netwrks, we started going one direction, just kind of offering this software as a solution. People pay for access to the software, you run your own campaigns, and then very quickly had to make a hard pivot because at the end of the day, giving individuals access to the software, they still weren't seeing the results that we were generating from our own efforts. And I compare it to, media buying, if you will. Yes, I could go and
Hmm.
run ads on Meta. Is that going to be as effective if I were to hire an agency who does this full time? Probably not. So even in my own business currently, I've really had to iterate as time has gone on. And I think maybe it's pride, maybe it's ego, but I definitely find it difficult to iterate as time goes on because I work so hard to build this kind of first pass on a project, and it's like, this has got to be perfect. I spent all this time on it, so let me just leave it as is, and being so resistant to change that I think it's really mitigated a lot of growth in the past. So at current state, really trying to keep that at the forefront of my mind because I realize, just from my own career, that iteration is key. And every time I've iterated or made that pivot at any point in time, it always results in some type of positive growth, whether it's revenue or success within the team internally, whatever it may be. And again, I know it's a simple thing, but something that is challenging to be top of mind as you're in the day to day, as I'm sure you're aware, with all the different hats that we have to manage as business owners.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I know with business, you have to be flexible and ready to change. You can do a business plan, but once it's started, there might be a greater opportunity you didn't see ahead of time. And I heard from an entrepreneur that you ready, fire, aim instead of ready, aim, fire. It's like you got to take action and move forward and then start aiming more once you see how people are responding, like your audience and all. So that's helpful. I can see how your mentor was helpful in that area. Is there anything else you want to share about networks or any other helpful tips that you have?
Yeah, so I think for me, at current state, a lot of my work up to this point has been with kind of national or international businesses, which has been an incredible opportunity to work with, other partners across the country and the world. I think for me right now, as someone who's born and raised here in Birmingham, I really have a passion for the city, and thankfully recently have had some unique opportunities to collaborate with some different businesses from around town. And I really see a huge opportunity on the digital marketing side of things for a large group of individuals and businesses here in Birmingham. Not to say that there's not some incredible advertising agencies and digital marketing agencies around town doing great work, but I see there's just a lack of, I don't know if initiative's the right term, maybe understanding and openness to deploy some of the strategies similar to what we're seeing success with at Network. So I think for me right now, a big priority is just being more involved in the Birmingham community and businesses in and around town. Not necessarily from a transactional standpoint, although I would be thankful to have more partners and clients on board, but more so just to share kind of my perspective and the knowledge that I've garnered over the years. So I think right now for me, the biggest thing that I'm looking to do is really establish myself further as a thought leader in Birmingham. And obviously, whatever I can do to make more connections to other business leaders in and around town and provide value to them, the better.
That's great. Well, we've loved having you on here, Jacob. And as he was saying, y'all should all connect with him on LinkedIn and send him a message if you're interested in his network services or just connecting as a leader in Birmingham. And I love that he's wanting to get involved in Birmingham. We're both here local, and I hope everybody has a great week.
Thanks, Liz.